2019 commencement ceremony. Welcome to all of our graduating seniors, to their families and friends, and to our faculty and staff. And a special welcome to mothers, as we've kindly scheduled our commencement ceremony on this day, especially for you. My name is Rob Mitchell, and I'm the chair of Duke's English Department. This is my first year as chair, and I've discovered, as I suspect all chairs have discovered before me, that there are a few, or maybe even many, aspects of this job that one wishes were, well, not part of the job. But this ceremony is in a quite different camp. And it's in fact this part of the job that makes the rest of it feel worth it. I'm very excited to be here with you and to be part of the celebration of these tremendous, tremendous graduating seniors. These students, soon to be alumni, are a huge part of why I'm happy and proud to be part of the Duke English Department. So this ceremony is for you, the students, and it's for us, the faculty and staff, and it's for you, the family and friends of these students. And while the point of this ceremony is for all of us to celebrate together the accomplishments of our graduating seniors, I nevertheless first want to direct a few comments, a bit more toward the families of the students, and then make a few comments that are more directed towards our graduating seniors themselves. So first, some comments for friends and family, and perhaps especially for the parents of our students. If you are here at this ceremony, then that means that you have already embraced, or at least accepted, that your child is an English major. But despite having accepted that, it's possible that every once in a while, you find yourself wondering nervously, but what kind of job is my child going to get with an English degree? Now, there are quite a few studies that show that people with English degrees indeed end up with personally fulfilling and financially remunerative jobs. But rather than cite dry statistics to you, I would instead encourage you, if you ever find yourself assailed by these kinds of worries, to take a look at the alumni section of our departmental website, which has job profiles of literally hundreds of our alumni. As you will see there, English majors not only find jobs, but they find exciting jobs and leadership positions in multiple fields, from law to business to academia to medicine to publishing and writing, to name just a few of the careers exemplified there. Having now, I hope, provided some reassurance about the job prospects of English majors, I'd like to direct the remainder of my comments more towards our soon-to-be graduates and explain what I think makes an English major distinctive in our contemporary world and moment. Each of the undergraduates to my left has taken his or her own path through our major, with some focusing more on writing poetry or writing fiction, others focusing more on, say, the study of medieval literature, and others focusing more on contemporary American literature and film, to name just a few of the areas in which students can specialize in our department. But what ties together all of these different individual paths through our major is a love for language, and more specifically, a love for how people can be moved by means of carefully crafted sentences, paragraphs, dialogue, images, and narratives. We are all, in other words, the kind of people, or all of us on the stage, are the kind of people who are constantly on the lookout for incredible, mesmerizing sentences. Sentences that make us say either, I want to be able to write a sentence like that, or I want to understand how that sentence works to create such a dense and complex sense of meaning, and I want to show other people how and why it works in that way. For all of our majors, this love for carefully constructed, meaningful, and often beautiful sentences requires a study of past authors, whether these earlier authors are medieval poets, early modern playwrights, 18th century essayists, 20th century screenwriters, or 21st century flash fiction authors. We study these earlier writers because their works collectively constitute a tradition, or to put another way, a huge repository of carefully, lovingly constructed series of words that have moved people and have left them filled with meaning. But for all of our majors, this long, complex history of the use of the English language to construct beauty and meaning also needs to be applied to the present. In other words, we study past literature so that we can bring those resources to bear on our own moment. My sense is that we're now living in a time when the study of the beauty and meaning of English sentences is more important than it's ever been. I say that because most of us are now surrounded by, and we're often avid users of, media such as Twitter, Facebook, and email, all of which encourage approximation and utility rather than precision and beauty in language. And this approximation and utility takes the form of autocorrections, emojis, and pre-scripted responses in our cell phone texts. It's exemplified by the speed at which we both compose and consume emails, texts, Facebook posts. And it's evident in the huge quantity of news, streaming Netflix shows, and movies, and novels that we consume. I think the cumulative effect of this kind of use of language is to convince us, unconsciously, that carefully chosen words and sentences don't really matter, that one can get by with a sort of good enough approach to language. And if, like me, you believe that thinking precisely depends on precise writing, then this is, well, at the very least, a challenge for all of us. Now, my point in saying this is not, of course, to encourage all of you graduating seniors to begin composing and sending only scintillating Twitter posts, emails, and texts. I think that would be a losing battle, since everything about these media discourages people from reading your prose carefully, no matter how carefully you compose it. But what I do want to say, by way of closing exhortation, is to encourage you, as you go out into your first jobs and begin to build the rest of your lives, to find ways to continue your interest in beautiful and meaningful language. And perhaps even more important, to invent new ways of bringing that love of language to others. Some of you may be able to do this as the main focus of your jobs. For example, those of you who work as writers or in the publishing industry or media jobs or law. But even if your job doesn't focus on the study or composition of beautiful, meaningful language, find a way and invent some new ways to keep this interest alive and to communicate it to others. Okay, those are my welcoming comments, and I'll now turn over the floor to our student speaker, Glenn Huang, who will provide the senior student speech.